Today I'm talking about a very special plane made by Aeroclassics. On July 23, 1983, Air Canada 143 was cruising over Red Lake, Ontario when the unthinkable happened. Due to a previous miscalculation, the plane had run out of fuel. Powerless, the crew managed to glide the airplane to a landing in Gimli, Manitoba. The aircraft would get the nickname the Gimli Glider. Tel 604 was eventually repaired, flew a full life uneventful, and was eventually retired. It had been put up for auction for collectors, but with no one willing to pay the $500,000 for it, interest groups instead bought parts of it. Most of them have made it into a museum in Gimli, and Moto Art had made key tags for sale to the public. One piece sits in my collection. And 2 years ago, I had a chance to meet Captain Bob Pearson in person. So when the email came through about the Aeroclassics release, it was a no-brainer. This plane had to be in my collection. The model is 12 centimeters long, 12.2 centimeters wide, and 4 centimeters high. The plane is very simple for release in 2018. I was very surprised not to see any antennas or any special features built into this plane. The paint job on this plane is almost flawless. I'll talk about the engines in a bit. However, the lines, logo, and text on the fuselage are very crisp with no rippling at all. A lot of the details in terms of doors, static ports, and pitot tubes are painted on. The color scheme matches what the Gimli Glider was at the time of the accident. One thing I found missing while researching this plane was the registration underneath the left wing. What was disappointing to me is that the belly of the actual plane was polished, and is represented on this model with a frosted silver paint. On the landing gear, the tires are made out of rubber, and some of them do roll. No chunky bits on the rubber. Although when holding the model up, they do look a bit disappointing. The main gear bogies are fixed and do not move. Of the Aeroclassics 767 engines, one thing I did like about the plane is that the fan blades are painted black versus the silver found on a majority of the 1 to 400 models out there. The paint on the cowling is a bit uneven at the front, with a small chip missing on the top of the right engine. Also missing on the engines are the nacelle strakes. I read on one of the other reviews the engines not being level and pointing down. Once I got my model, I could not unnotice this. Being a different brand, this 767 works with the Gemini Jet's airport. The gate fits nicely. Also, the Gemini Jet's ground set also fits as well. In closing, when I decided to do this review, my plane was still being shipped, and from some of the pictures I had already seen online of this model, I wanted to do a comparison of this model to an older Dragonwing 767-300 that I have. One of the things that made me happy about the Aeroclassics 767 is that the nose looks more bang on with the real thing. Then two things bothered me. A simple one on the Aeroclassics is that the main gear doesn't tilt, unlike the Dragonwings model that I already have. Then I take major issue with the nose gear. I prefer the design on the Dragonwing 767 more, since it doesn't look bulky and it looks more of a proper size. Also on the Aeroclassics, looking from the side, you can tell there's a hole where the nose gear lives. On the Dragon model, the nose gear is removable and the hole is not even noticeable. Overall, the Aeroclassics Gimli Glider is a very good airplane considering the low price point I paid, and the added sentimental value I have with the Gimli Glider makes the purchase more worth it. A special thanks to jetcollector.com, first for the email letting me know about this new release, and then getting this plane to me really quick. Links are in the description, and as usual, thanks for watching and happy collecting!